Hi everyone, let's talk about credit reporting agencies, Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax, or lack of their performance. So latest news from CFPB, Consumer Finance Protection Bureau, coming from Washington. A new analysis by Consumer Finance Protection Bureau reveals how changes in complaint responses provided by national consumer reporting companies resulted in fewer meaningful responses and less consumer relief. Well, that's not news. They've been doing this for a while, but guess what? It got worse last year, okay? In 2021, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion together reported relief into responses to less than 2%. That's two, a singular number, of covered complaints, down from nearly 25% of complaints in 2019. So that means, imagine 100 people sending in complaints, including us, and only 2 people out of 100 are getting answered. And answers don't mean resolution. It's just answer, or the 2 cases out of 100 are being revealed or reviewed. That's 80%, more than 80% reduction in production. America's credit reporting oligopoly has little incentive to treat consumers fairly when their credit reports have errors. Today's report is further evidence of the serious harms stemming from their faulty financial surveillance business models. I couldn't have said it any better. Faulty financial surveillance business models. So what's causing this negligence by credit reporting agencies? Is this working from home? I don't think so. It's the automation. Automation is killing the credit reporting agencies because credit reports are very personal. You cannot automate a response to a human being about a complaint, the worst of which are identity theft. The protocol for the credit reporting agencies are, if you had a identity theft, you file a police report, you provide substantial evidence supporting your complaint that the accounts on the credit report are not yours, or the collections are not yours, and why they're not yours. So they basically telling you to do their job, right? So you file a police report, it's your job, yes. But you're supposed to investigate where this account came from. You're supposed to contact the creditors, and you're supposed to prove beyond any doubt that this is not your account, which we do. And we complain, we do this for the consumer, and we submit it to the credit reporting agencies, and they come back stating that they checked in with the creditor and either it came back validated or they fail to respond to us because they allege that the complaint came from a third party, or they state that this is erroneous response because we've complained second, third time. Well, why did we repeat our complaint? Because there was no answer. There was a negligence on their hand. And by law, as a consumer, you have the right to hire CRO, credit reporting agencies like ourselves. We're a licensed, insured, and bonded in the state of California. We fall under legal entity, under the Department of Justice, believe it or not. Yes, so by law, you have the right to seek remedies to repair your credit, to remove all the mistakes and erroneous items on your credit report. And by law, credit reporting agencies supposed to comply. They're supposed to fairly review the complaint. They're supposed to fairly respond to complaint, and they're supposed to fairly produce outcome and produce corrections, deletions, whatever you're entitled to, and whatever the finding based on findings. But that response fell from 25% to 2% last year, not because employees are working from home, but because of the automation. The complaint goes in, a computer reads your complaint, or electronically submitted complaint gets read by a system, by an algorithm that spits out an automatic response that is a closest match available, right? That does not solve an issue. Credit reports are very personal. Credit reports and mistakes on the credit reports are not summed into certain things. Same stuff does not happen to the same person. And same outcome is not fair. to grant to everybody. Negligence is definitely not fair to grant to a consumer. Consumers submitted in 2012, consumers submitted more than 700,000 complaints to CFPB regarding Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. But more than 50% of all complaints received by the agencies were ignored or were not received even an answer. That's outrageous. And they are under federal regulation. What's happening? And credit reports are used not just by the banks or lending institutions to determine the qualification for the loan and terms, but credit reports are used for employment, used for housing, for insurance, even utilities. Imagine you have an error on your credit report and you trying to activate the utilities, but you can't because there's an error, and the report going to the utility company shows that you do not qualify to have utilities activated, or you have to pay extra. Necessities, basic necessities of life. This is un-American. I just have no other word for this. So, Fair Credit Reporting Act requires Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion to conduct a review of complaints sent to them through the CFPB. So, when the CFPB Inspector General's office, they launched an investigation, guess what responses they received from the bureaus? Equifax failed to provide CFPB with the outcome of the investigation. TransUnion, and I quote, this is directly coming from CFPB, TransUnion often stated it would take no action on complaints because it believed the complaint were submitted by a third party, CFPB. So they read them as third parties and they denied their request, shooting themselves in the leg, right? And Experian responded to 2 to 3% of responses of complaints, and the rest of them were the majority of those responses, of the 2 to 3% responses, were basically a postcard stating, we received your complaint, we'll get back to you, but they never did. So where does that leave us? Resilience. There's no way. There's no other way. Resilience. If you find mistakes on your credit report, do follow the protocol. You've been a victim of identity theft, file a police report. File it with the credit bureaus. Each credit bureau has their own overlays of rules. So, but the basics are, you have to file with them. You have to provide evidence of the fact that this is not your account. Basically do their job, but this is your credit. It's more important to you than them. So go out of your way, put in a little more effort. It will save you time and hustle at the end of the day. But if you don't have time and if you don't have the will, and I understand we're all busy with life, we are here for you. Again, truly yours, Sofia Kirinova from Better Credit USA. For a quote, you can submit your credit report on our secured website, bettercreditservice.com, or email me directly, message me, DM me. Best way to get a hold of me through either a text or email. But I always welcome calls. Again, this is Sofia, Better Credit USA, Consumer Issue Resolution, Consumer Advocacy Forum right here. Bye. Have a good day and take care of each other and take care of yourself. Things are going to be okay.